before we start. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. That's all well and good. I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay. So Thatsutan is taking the OET test in May. Okay, so you've still got a couple of months. So that's good. That's good. Nice. Bit of time to prepare. What about all of you other people? When are you taking your OET test? Please put that into the chat. Okay, cool. We're live on YouTube. Excellent. I think that's all good. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Okay, so Shazia in April. Denver, April. Amani, April, May, April, May. Okay, it looks like April's going to be a big one. No problem. No problem. Fine. Let's just get started. What's the time? Yes. Okay, it's 2:30 Melbourne time. Just give me a second. Let me make sure this is working. Cool, that's all working. We'll do a little Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, you can just hold on to them in your mind, or you can write them down and ask me at the end, because I'll hang around for, say, 15, 20 minutes and answer any questions you may have on any of the OET subtests, or, well, I'll just tell you what I know. Today, we're going to focus on OET reading part B. We're going to do some further practice. This seems to be, or this section of the test, reading at least, seems to be one of the most challenging. Really, it looks like reading is the most difficult, followed by writing, or maybe vice versa, but those two sections of the test are the most challenging. And then listening and speaking seem to be less challenging for candidates. A lot of candidates are freaked out by reading part A. That's the subtest where you have the 4 texts and you have to fill in the summary in 15 minutes. That one scares people the most, but in fact, reading part B, I believe they're weighted at 50-50. So it's just as important. You get a longer period of time to do reading part B. It's equally as challenging in a different way. While reading part A is all about reading as quickly as possible and skimming and scanning for answers, reading part B is about reading in depth and understanding everything that you read, and reading for details, reading for overall meaning. Anyway, I'm going to show you some of these types of questions. Now, just before we begin, actually, I need to paste the YouTube live link into the Zoom chat. If you're in Zoom and watching this and the screen's blurry and looks a bit funny, you'll have to watch this on YouTube Live. So I'm putting the chat there. The link to the YouTube Live page into the chat in Zoom. And I'm going to change the chat settings so you can only chat with me. Okay, good. Nice. All right, let's get started. Let's have a look at reading part B. So just to refresh your memory, you're going to have 45 minutes to do reading part B. There'll be 2 reading texts, both of which will be about medical topics, not specialist topics. So they'll be appropriate for any profession, whether it be nursing, dentistry, physiotherapy, etc. It's a multiple choice test, and you'll have 4 answer options for each question. There's no negative marking, so if you don't know, you should guess. And you just mark A, B, C, or D on your answer sheet. Seems pretty easy, but in fact, it's a bit tricky. So I'm going to give you some live practice today. Let's start with question 1. And whoops, see, that's not off to a good start. What happened to my question 1? Oh, strange. I just lost some slides, but now they came back, I think. Hold on, something's going on with my PowerPoint presentation. Very, very strange. Okay, question 1 is there. Bear with me, bear with me. Okay, now it's working. I don't know. Strange technology. Anyway, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. Okay, let's move to the next question, question 2. And it's doing that weird thing again. Question 2, here we go. Question 2. Okay, cool. Just before we go to question 3, I'm going to have to just quit my slides and bring them back. Just bear with me. Okay, I'm going to turn off PowerPoint. Something weird is happening. Something weird is happening with PowerPoint. Just bear with me. Okay, so I've quit that. Now I'm going to reopen it and hopefully it starts to work properly. And it's just opening. And cool, we're up to question 3. Hopefully this works. When all else fails, you turn it off and turn it back on. Here we go. Question 3. Whoops. Question 3. Come on. What's going on? There we go. Having serious problems now. Okay. Question 3. Sorry about that. Okay, I hope you're writing down your answers on a piece of paper, like 1A, 2B, 3C, whatever, because at the end, I want to see what score you get. We'll look at the answers in a minute. Let's go to question 4. I believe this is question 4. Here we go, question 4. Okay, let's move to question number 5. We've got 2 more questions after this. Question 6, the second last question. Whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of different answers, which means that I've probably written good questions. Last question, here we go. Okie dokie, that's the end of that. Of course, in the real OET, the individual questions are not timed. You just have overall time. You have 45 minutes to complete. Usually there's 10 questions in each. So it's about 2 minutes per question, but you have to have an internal clock to make sure that you sort of spend no more than 2 minutes on each question and go to the next one, okay? Okay, just before we look at the answers, I just need to see if I can, first of all, fix my slides. For some reason, they're jamming up. I also need my marking pen, which is called, what is it? Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, that's there. Okay, that's there. Good. Okay, that'll do. Fine. Okay, just let me check the chat of Zoom, just make sure everyone's okay. Yep, everyone looks cool. No problem. All right, I hope you wrote down your answers. We're going to go through them right now. Here we go. Let's look at the answers. So, question 1. Okay, let's have a closer look at this. This is one of those tricky questions that asks you which one is not true. Which of the following is not true? So if this one is true, then we leave it. If this one's true, then we leave it. If this one is wrong, then we choose it, right? So one of them is not true. So it says e-cigarettes have become increasingly popular in the USA. This says the popularity of electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes has grown rapidly in the United States over the past decade. That's true. So we're going to leave A. B says researchers found the benefits and harms of e-cigarettes to be balanced. Okay, now that's a bit of a strange one. Let's have a look at this. This sentence here says, based on available evidence, Dartmouth researchers quantified the balance of health benefits and harms associated with e-cigarette use. Okay, at the population level, and found that e-cigarettes could substantially increase the number of adolescents and young adults who eventually become cigarette smokers. This is not true. So this is the answer. In fact, the benefits and harms are not balanced. It could be potentially an imbalance, and e-cigarettes could cause more damage. If you got B for number 1, well done, you got 1 point. Let's have a look at question 2. According to paragraph 2, e-cigarettes, A, are disproportionately unhelpful in the fight against cigarette addiction. B, are far more helpful than unhelpful in supporting addicts who wish to quit. C, have far greater upside than downside, which means that they're just more beneficial than negative. Or D, e-cigarettes ultimately lead to cigarette addiction, especially in youth. The answer to this one is A. E-cigarettes are disproportionately unhelpful in the fight against cigarette addiction. That's what this paragraph is about, because especially in this second part, the author says, on the other hand, e-cigarettes may facilitate cigarette smoking initiation and confer substantial harm to adolescents and young adults once they are introduced to nicotine. Here, when she's talking about the benefits of e-cigarettes, he says, or she says, I'm not sure, it only marginally increases the number of adult cigarette smokers. So it's disproportionately unhelpful, these e-cigarettes. So if you got A for number 2, well done. Question 3, according to paragraph 2, the word initiation is closest in meaning to which of these words? Well, in the context of this paragraph, it's not A, it's actually B, introduction. Let's substitute the word initiation here for the word introduction. On the other hand, e-cigarettes may facilitate cigarette smoking introduction and confer substantial harm. Okay, that's the only one that is possible in that context. So if you got B for question number 3, I believe. Let's look at question number 4. According to paragraph 3, e-cigarette smoking could result in the deaths of 1.5 million people, convert 1.5 million youths into cigarette smokers, reduce the lifespans of a significant number of people, D, harm the lives of well over 1 million young people. The answer here, let's have a look at this 1.5 part, because it's definitely located around here. E-cigarettes could lead to more than 1.5 million years of life lost because their use could substantially increase the number of adolescents and young adults who eventually become cigarette smokers. The answer here is C. E-cigarette smoking could reduce the lifespans of a significant number of people, okay? A, B, and D are incorrect. Although C is not precise, it doesn't mention the 1.5 million number. It is the only statement in those 4 statements that is correct. Okay, so if you got number 4, C, well done. Question number 5. In paragraph 4, previous attempts to control tobacco were only somewhat successful. Let's read this. This sentence here holds the key. While tobacco control efforts have successfully led to a substantial reduction in youth cigarette smoking since the 90s, e-cigarettes have the potential to slow or even reverse that trend. So in paragraph 4, previous attempts to control tobacco were only somewhat successful. No. Were not accepted by some of the population. No, it doesn't say that. Let's look at D. Can be strengthened by banning e-cigarettes. Well, it doesn't say that. And so even if you don't know what the word thwarted means, you should still be choosing C because you've eliminated A, B, and D. The answer is, in fact, C. And the word thwarted means that, let's say you have progress, and then that progress is slowed or stopped by something. That's what thwarted means. You thwart progress. So in fact, the Tobacco Control Acts were thwarting people from smoking cigarettes. They were reducing the number of, they were being successful. Then e-cigarettes came along and may increase it. So the answer here to number 5 is C. And if I can click this, question number 6. In paragraph 4, the harm of e-cigarette smoking compared to cigarette smoking is relative to the size of the population? No. Is possibly greater? C is far greater. D depends on whether youth take up the habits. Let's have a look here. The harm of e-cigarette smoking compared to cigarette smoking. Results find that based on the existing scientific evidence related to e-cigarettes, and optimistic assumptions about the relative harm of e-cigarette use compared to cigarette smoking, e-cigarette use currently represents more population level harm than benefit. Okay, is possibly greater. Okay, the answer here is B. It's possibly greater. The harm of e-cigarette smoking, according to this information here, is possibly greater than that of tobacco cigarette smoking. So the answer there is B for number, I forget the number there. What are we up to? Let's go back. That was question 6 is B. Question 7. In paragraph 5, which of the following statements is not true? Again, we're going to eliminate answers that are true, and we're going to find the statement which is not true. Okay, so e-cigarette smoking may help to reduce currently addicted smokers. So let's see if we can find that in here. Now it says, quote, we need to substantially decrease the number of adolescents and young adults who vape and increase the number of smokers who use e-cigarettes to successfully quit smoking. So e-cigarette smoking may help to reduce currently addicted smokers. According to this, that's true. So we're going to leave A. B, e-cigarettes could provide more benefit than harm to society. We also, okay, here, this part here. Effective national, state, and local efforts are needed to reduce e-cigarette use among youth and young adults if e-cigarettes are to confer a net population level benefit in the future. E-cigarettes could provide more benefit than harm to society. Well, according to this, that is true. So we're going to leave that one. Let's have a look at D. E-cigarette companies create products that appeal to young people. We also need to close the regulatory gaps that make e-cigarettes appealing to adolescents and young adults by reducing the availability of kid-friendly flavors. Okay, e-cigarette companies produce products that appeal to young people. That is true. So we're going to leave that one, which leaves us with C. E-cigarette regulation is a national matter. Well, this is kind of confused because here it says effective national, state, and local efforts are needed to reduce e-cigarette use among youth and young adults. And here it's talking about some other regulatory gap. So in fact, which is not true, the number 7 is C. E-cigarette regulation is a national matter. Cool. Please put your score into the chat. What did you get out of 7? Three, 4, 3, 6, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3. Yikes, 4, 4, 3, 3. Oh my God, not good. Stancy Thomas on YouTube Live is winning the race with 6 out of 7 so far. Tricky, tricky, tricky. 4, 3, 4. So most people got about 50%, or maybe less than 50% right. 5, 4, 4, 4, 4. All right. Anyway, the point is, don't underestimate reading part B in your exam. The point is, reading part B contributes just as many marks to your overall reading score. And I think it's equally as challenging as reading part A. Although you get more time, the questions are really challenging. Even when I do this, I'm a native English speaker and an English teacher. When I do the OET official reading test, I usually get 1 wrong. So I usually get about 9 out of 10. It's really challenging. And it makes me think. I sit there and look at these questions and I think, whoa. So it's really tough. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. Of course, you need to practice reading part B. It will take into account 2 things. One, it will take into account your fundamental skills like vocabulary and grammar, right? And also just reading strategy skills. But also test practice is essential here because there's different question types, which we've seen some of them in this lesson. So you need to practice those question types. Anyway, that leads me to the last thing I say before we do Q&A, which is if you need any help with your OET, check out this website here, e2language.com. We offer an online, 100% online OET course that has heaps of materials. It has heaps of methods lessons. It has one-on-one tutorials, has feedback for your writing, has live classes, has overview lessons, skill building practice, all sorts of stuff. So you can check that out if you're a little bit concerned about your OET. Anyway, let me answer some questions. If you have any questions, please put them into the chat. I'll stick around and answer them. Danazia12 on YouTube Live says, my question, please, how many in total do we need to get a grade B? The answer is, I don't know. The answer is nobody knows except for the OET. Somebody said 65%, but that's not published anywhere. So we're not sure about that. Somebody asked a question before and it was an interesting one. And they said, Jay, I need help with OET writing. Tell me, what information do I put into each of the paragraphs? The answer to that question is it completely depends on who you're writing to, why you're writing to them, okay? There's no template for writing. If you memorize a template, or if you have a teacher who says, oh, in the introduction, you put this, in the second paragraph, you put the medications, in the third paragraph, don't listen to them. That is not how you do OET writing. OET writing requires you to be flexible and to think strategically about who you're writing to, what that person needs to know, and you structure a letter according to the needs of that reader. It's not a memorized template. If you use a memorized template, you probably will not pass OET writing, okay? Angry teacher. How to prepare. I've joined the course. 2 was getting good marks in the course. Good. Shazia, well, that's a good start. Join the course, join the course. Could you send to our emails all the past webinars, the links especially? No, you can sign up to e2language.com and they're all on there. Here's the thing, you may think, oh, I might not prepare for this exam because I don't want to spend $69 US at E2 Language. Well, the exam itself is nearly $500. And if you fail, you have to take it again. That means $1,000 plus you have to spend all that time. And anyway, let's just think about preparation as a bit of an investment, I think. Questions, more questions. Oh, sorry, Stancy. Part A is worth 33%, Part B is worth 66%. I'll have to double check that, I'm not sure. Reading Part B may be worth 2/3 of your mark. Lauren Quillayton, is reading scoring based on standard deviation? Yes. So this is why nobody knows how many you need to get correct to get a reading part, to get a score of B, because it depends on everyone taking the test on that day. They use some statistical analysis to calculate what score, and it depends on the test day and the test paper. Okay, it's sophisticated. Jay, are there choices that are not given in the passage? No, it's not like IELTS. It's not like IELTS. So if something is false, it's going to contradict something else. If it's not given, they don't have IELTS true, false, not given questions. Okay, good question though. Jay, I've got B in all except for writing, and I've got C+ in writing. What can I do to improve further? What could be the mistake, and how can I improve? It's hard to tell. I don't know. I don't know unless I see it. You may want to think about upgrading to a paid package where you get writing feedback and possibly a one-on-one tutorial. So you can just spend 45 minutes with one of the E2 Language OET teachers, identify the errors that you've made. Next time, don't make them, okay? Apart from that, it could be a number of things. You could be including irrelevant information. You could be writing disorganized paragraphs. You may not be transforming the case notes correctly. You may be misinterpreting the case notes. There's a number of things that you could be, or could be a letter formatting issue. Mona, is E2 Language aware of the changes that will be implemented in September OET intake? Yes, we are, and we are currently building our OET preparation course for 10 dates will be launched in July. There are going to be two major changes to the OET for the September candidate. Taking tests in June, July, don't worry. To take the reading will change quite significantly. The writing and the same, but the reading and the listening change. Okay, probably proper. Yes, we're back with OET and we're currently. Could you please share your material? Just go to elanguage.com. It's all there. It's all beautiful on reading part first, or read the whole paragraph. Read question, read the answer, read the paragraph back. So read the question from what you're reading for. Lauren, is so difficult mind to enter the exam this April? I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. Hopefully it made you think that you need to do some preparation, proper preparation, not just self-study. Okay, more questions on here. Can I go back to reading part A after I've done with reading part B? No. Good question though. In one past exam, there was admitting an officer. So is he a doctor or a general person? I have no idea, Shazia. Can I jump back? I've appeared. Okay, you're waiting the results, no problem. If the name of the doctor being referred is not mentioned, what will we address to? Okay, it will always tell you who you're writing to. It may not give you a specific name like Dr. Smith, but it may just say radiologist. And so you need to write, dear radiologist, right? Something like that, okay? So if they don't give the name, you just use the profession, dear charge nurse or dear dentist, or you could say to whom it may concern might be more appropriate. To determine the readings grade, do they combine reading part A and reading part B? Yes. Jay, how long the time for reading part B? 45 minutes. Hi Jay, I recently started preparing for the OET. I'm giving my exam next month. Is 1 month enough? Depends on your current level of English. If your English is really good, 1 month should be sufficient. If your English is lacking in grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, you may need more time. Can we do frequent webinars such as this? You can have all of the recorded ones. They're on the website. What should we say for the sign off? Since regards, doctor, or sincerely? Just use sincerely and a comma. Jay, will they be updating the writing exam for September? No, writing stays the same. Can you please discuss the nursing letter which was asked in the month of March OET exam, a letter to a pharmacist? Unfortunately not, because I didn't take the test and I have no idea. Okay, cool. I think that's all, guys. Here's a question. Do we have time in the end of listening test to transfer our answers onto the answer sheet? Yes, I would say so. I haven't taken the OET. I've taken the IELTS though. I imagine it's similar. All right. I think that's all. Cool. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. Remember to practice and prepare properly, because this test is by no means easy. And even if you're a great doctor, great nurse, great dentist, doesn't really mean that you may pass this easily. You need to prepare. It's a different exam. And you may in fact have to, for the writing, for example, I've had doctors that say, Jay, I don't write my referral letters like this. Well, you have to for this exam. You have to write to what the OET examiners want to see, okay? And we can take you through everything. Don't stress, all good. We can prepare you properly. Cool, thanks for coming along. I'll see you guys soon.